What is up, nation? AJ Reilly, Eric, Vincent here for Beyond the Box with a rough weekend of football that we have got to discuss because my goodness, Eric, I don't know about you. I do not know about you, but I'm telling you right now, I turned the TV off after 4 o'clock yesterday and I did not watch football in the 4 o'clock slot or in the nightcap. Even though I had 5 fantasy players playing in that Sunday night football game, I did not watch a single down of it because I'm mad. I'm mad. I'm not happy.
A huge part of me wanted to see Brady and Rodgers rip into each other at the 425 slot. Couldn't even dive into it and enjoy it after what happened. But
And then, but that it was just a perfect cap on the whole weekend, right? Like it was Michigan struggled, Michigan State got annihilated, and the Lions did what the Lions did. We're going to get into all of that here on Beyond the Box tonight. We are so glad that you have stopped by to
appreciate
see
you.
us and hang out. I do want to remind you to make sure that you throw some thoughts down into the chat for us. We will get them up on screen to react, interact, and communicate with you because we are here for you, the people. You need some therapy after Sunday? We got you.
Yes, we do.
We got them, Eric, right?
We got our clipboards ready. Take a seat on the couch. We're here to talk and get it
we
all out of the open.
And we won't even charge you by the hour because
No,
guess what?
no.
It's going to be good for our soul too. And you know, Eric, in situations like this, sometimes it's just best to rip off the Band-Aid. So we got to rip off the Band-Aid, man. And here's what we have. The Lions losing to the Vikings, their first divisional road game, losing to the Vikings 24-28, a game in which they led at one point by 14, and a game in which in the fourth quarter they led by 10 points. But yet, here we are again on a Monday dissecting this game and saying, well, I wish I could be surprised. And I don't want to be that guy that starts going, throwing out 3-letter acronyms for something that means something else. But this was very, very traumatic in that sense that it seemed to be the same old thing.
If you ain't going to do it, I'll do it. It's an SOL feeling, guys. Let's talk about it. I saw a lot of people on Twitter, but Jeff Okudah had a good game and Goff played hard and this. I don't care about none of that. SOL is not about the Lions just losing. It's about finding new and unnecessary ways to lose. And that's exactly what happened on Sunday. This had SOL written all over it for so many reasons. And I don't even know where to start. There's so many things we want to get into with this.
Let's start here. They snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
I like that. That's a good one. I like that.
They did.
A poster out of that. That'll be a good t-shirt.
Listen, you know that I rewatch the games consistently.
Yeah.
I've watched that game 3 times now. Call me a masochist, but maybe I am. I'm even going to the game on Sunday. Like, even after all this debacle, I'm still going this Sunday.
Okay.
I took note. In the fourth quarter, the Lions got the ball back with 7 minutes and 40-something seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
They had a 4-minute drive. Took the ball down. We're driving. You're not planning to run the clock out with 7 minutes left, but you're trying to sustain a drive, maybe get some points, put it farther out of reach. At that point, the score is 24-21. Take the ball. They're driving 4 minutes off the clock, so they give the ball back to the Vikings on a terrible 4th down call. They tried to go for it on 4th down. They did like a little fake left, counter right. There were 3 Vikings there to tackle Jamal Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Give the ball back with 3 minutes and 31 seconds. I went back and watched that drive again after I saw that. 6 plays with the play clock snapped. The ball snapped in the play clock at 15 seconds to 12 seconds.
Yes.
Had they taken that down, you're not trying to run out the clock, but had they taken that down, those 6 plays totaled another minute, which means that in the ensuing Vikings drive that took 1 minute, the Lions would have been getting the ball back with a minute or less on the clock.
Yes.
Those are the kind of things that at the beginning of the season, when we talk about game management and we talk about Dan Campbell, we talk about decisions that he made, and we're going to get into all of those decisions tonight. But when I sit here and I look at something like that, there's one person that I blame for that, and it's not Dan Campbell. It's Jared Goff, because he's the one calling hut, hike.
Okay.
Take that. The number one rule of quarterbacking, right, is you lead, you manage the clock. The first thing you do when you step into a stadium is you locate where the play clocks are.
Right.
So you know where they're at. He knows where they're at. He can see that they're ticking at 15 seconds. You're not trying to go tempo. There's no hurry at all. So why are we snapping the ball with 12 seconds left?
I had the exact same question. I was literally talking to Ricky. Ricky's a long-time follower of the show. We were sitting here talking about the same thing. We need a quarterback because the coaching is inexperienced and young. They're going to make mistakes. But you, at the very least, also can have a quarterback that's a veteran, like Goff is, to understand situational football, be able to snap appropriately, make the right adjustments, and say, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't be going to Reynolds or DJ Shark over the middle in this play. Maybe we should just hand it off to our running back who's been killing them this whole game. Take some time off the clock. Even if you do get stopped, I don't care if you get stopped or lose yardage. The clock at least is still running. You with a 10-point lead in the fourth.
And we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that because second down on that drive with like 3 minutes left, they throw a play action pass 15 yards down the field on a back shoulder throw that did not require a back shoulder throw and gave them a free timeout. Dre Johnson, just want to hit you up here. He wants to know if both teams have fun. I hope not. I actually hope not. I'm not one, and I know that this is in jest, but if this is a participation trophy week, like, I'm not here for handing out participation trophies.
No, we ain't doing
at
that
all.
No.
I hope they didn't have fun. I hope the Lions came back on the team plane and were miserable. I hope it was silent because they they circled this game on the calendar. Circle this game on the schedule because
100%.
They let this one get away, and it's horrible that they let this get away. And I'm going to go back to the fact that one of my takeaways is that Jared Goff is actually a problem for this.
Yeah, team. Let's talk about, because I talked about it on the news desk, and to me, I wanted them to run the ball more, like we were just talking about. And I was going at it with one of the people in the comments and saying that Goff wasn't that sharp in the fourth quarter. St. Brown was hurt. Reynolds went down hurt. DJ Shark is a magician with his disappearing, and same with Hockenson. They were both horrible in the second half. Like, they got a couple passes in the first quarter, disappeared. So they really weren't in any kind of rhythm, but
no rhythm at all.
Talk a little bit more about what you thought for Jared Goff, because you had a lot of thoughts about why he was more the problem than anybody on this team.
Yeah, so Jared Goff, I'm going to throw up his stats here just so that everybody can see them, and they look good if you look at them, right? 25 for 41, which means he was over 50% completion, 277 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception that, listen, there's some people that say you cannot blame him for that interception. I'm going to blame him for that interception. Do you know why I'm going to blame him for that interception? Because there were 17 seconds on the clock when he snapped it. He rolled out to the left, missed Hawk on an underneath route that he could have dumped it off to, and threw it up to one player amid 3 Vikings. In that situation, it wasn't 4th down. It was 3rd and 10. You toss that ball out of bounds, and you get one more play. They could have had one more play.
I was so confused by the wind-up. Yeah,
I am going to blame him for that interception. I'm going to put that on him. Now, listen, did he play an okay game? He played an okay game. But when you look at grades that come out from PFF, when you are in a battle and a 24-28 loss, and your quarterback, who you are paying buku dollars for, is the 12th best graded player on your team, that's not good. And then if you dig a little bit deeper, Eric, and you look at him as a passer and the grades on his passing for the entire season, where do you think he ranks?
I know
you know the answer because we've talked about this.
Yeah,
he's a bottom 8 quarterback.
That's crazy. He's
crazy. I definitely would have in the NFL. You know who's better than him passing grades? Carson Wentz, David Mills are ranked higher than him according to grades on PFF. Now, listen, I know that there's a Goff army out there that just loves this guy, and they don't want to bash him because he's part of the team this year. Guess what? He's going to hold this team back, and I'll show you specifically why in this game right here. I pulled up a graphic from PFF. Okay. Now, Eric, you can see this graphic right here.
Yep.
Okay. This is his dissemination of passes throughout the game. What sticks out to you in this graphic?
He's a check down Charlie.
He's a check down Charlie.
He ain't moving that ball at all down the field.
So just to break down this graphic, and again, it's from PFF, so I want to make sure they get their credit. But just to break down this graphic, the top numbers, 6 of 7, 9 of 9, 2 of 4, those are his completion percentages. The yards underneath that are the yards after catch. So he's throwing the ball short of 10 yards and picked up 55 when it went to the left, picked up 88 when it went to the middle, picked up 13 when it went to the right. But here's where I get hung up.
Okay.
Over 10 yards, Jared Goff was 5 for 13, less than 50% completion percentage. Did not complete a ball outside the hashes over 10 yards. Can only complete the ball in the middle of the field over 10 yards. And these two right here were deep crossing routes to Josh Reynolds and DJ Chark in the beginning of the game. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm just stunned by that because as much play action as they run,
right,
you would think they would be willing to take a couple looks towards the end zone or at least going deep to a shark or whoever at this point. They seem to rely really heavily on Amon-Ra Brown over the middle. He plays like that Cooper Kupp role with this team, and
as he should,
they're kind of overusing it at this point. They're kind of overusing it though.
And you and I had this discussion, right? We got to J-Mo. When J-Mo gets back, it's going to be a difference. It's not. And you know why? Because he can't get the ball deep outside of the hashes. He hasn't completed a pass outside beyond 10 yards. Where's J-Mo going to be lining up? It ain't going to be in the middle.
No, he's going to have to be on the outside.
This concerns me. This concerns me big time because when he has a 57.1 passing grade from PFF, we have a problem. Because that's 25th in the NFL. 25th in the NFL. And I'm going to go back again to the fact that he had the opportunity to kill the clock in the fourth quarter, and he didn't. And I'm going to keep going on this because fourth down, right? This is going to get into the Dan Campbell decision-making. Fourth down, end of the game, they choose to kick a field goal. You've gone for it nearly every other fourth down in that situation.
Yep.
Did Jared Goff go out there and make a case to stay on the field? No. You know what he said? I wish that I would have because he probably would have let us. Great. Fantastic.
Probably
That's real leadership, pal.
If
you are a competitor and if you want to win that game, I'm sorry I'm cutting you off, but I am ready to go. If you are a competitor and you want to lead this team, then you better be drug off that field in a situation like that.
He had listen, I didn't love Goff in the second half. I feel like the tailing off started towards like the third quarter. They weren't able to, like, after their touchdown, the last touchdown they scored, after that, Goff was like 4 of 12 in his passing. He was terrible. He couldn't get no kind of rhythm. I don't hold all that against him because, again, the circumstances were his best receiver is hurt. One of his more reliable guys, who he's turning Reynolds' value super high. I love the connection that they're still putting on display. But again, I don't even think he should have even been in that situation. I really don't. I don't hang a ton on him with that. Our Hard Knocks nightmare is coming true. We said it. We talked about how much we love the grit, the personality, and the motivating factor that Dan Campbell has for this team. If that's your job, fine. I'm okay with that. But get some X's and O's guys next to you so you can make up for it. Because you can't be the inspirational leader of the team, and then when your X's and O's don't match that and you're blowing games, you lose the locker room quick. Especially for a young team, bro. Like, I don't know how motivated you could be if you're not making the right calls. You're blowing, like, these great performances. Okuda's playing like a top 5 corner. Penei Sewell might be the best right tackle in football at this point. Like, you're wasting unbelievable performances by guys that we needed to see perform. I don't hang a lot of this on the team, like on the players. I put this strictly at the feet of the coaching. I understand your Goff beef, but this is strictly on Dan Campbell because you are wasting a lot of performances from these teams that you could rely on.
And so to get off of Goff for a second, let's go to Dan Campbell. Because as Ricky, friend of the show, says,
what up, Ricky?
Ball, Dan. Run the ball. And you're right. We need to run the ball more. It hurts when Swift is injured, and most reports say that he's not even going to be playing next week because of a shoulder injury now, on top of the ankle. Like, again, this whole like fear that we had with Hard Knocks and the interaction we saw with Deuce Staley and DeAndre Swift during Hard Knocks, it's again, everybody's so excited by what they saw and the hype of a contrived TV show that the reality is this team still has major holes. And one of the biggest holes, and I hope that it gets corrected, is Dan Campbell right now.
Yes.
Is Dan Campbell.
It's not
because listen, every decision
ahead,
that he made on fourth down was correct except for the field goal. And here's why.
Okay.
Before the Vikings scored their second touchdown, he went for it on fourth down and gave him half the field to work with. I personally would not have gone for it in that situation, even though analytically it makes the most sense.
Right.
When you're midfield 4th and 3 or less, analytically your odds of converting are better than just punting the ball away. But when you get to that fourth quarter and it is 24-21 and there is less than 2 minutes on the clock, because the Lions had the 2-minute warning. The Vikings used the 2-minute warning as one of their timeouts. You have 3 options on that fourth down play. One of them is to go for it and get it and ice the game. The second option is to punt it with your all-pro punter who can pin them deep.
Pin them deep inside. Yes.
And even if he doesn't, okay, you have then at least lengthened the field by 15 yards. So let's say that he kicks a touchback, right? And they get the ball at the 20-25.
Right.
You've only given up. You've extended the field by 10 or so yards.
Right.
Which makes a difference in the way that they go about that.
Yes.
But he chose option 3, which shouldn't even have been an option of saying, you know what, instead of having our offense who can get 3 yards on rushing the ball or having our all-pro punter pin them deep, I'm going to send out my kicker, who's already missed earlier in the game, to ask him to kick a career-long field goal.
He's just losing it. Oh, chat, where you at? How many of y'all want to run through a wall for Dan Campbell after this week? That was what we all wanted to do.
But here's the thing. I still would run through a wall for the man. Just be better. Learn, right? Like, in this situation next time, make the right call.
I want to run through a wall, but it ain't for him. I want to just run through a wall just on depression alone. Like, a lot of people, too, were picking on the defense. I'm not even mad at the defense. I'll keep it a stack with you. Like, I don't care. You hold that offense that has that kind of explosiveness to 14 points through 3 quarters. I can't be mad at that. Like, that's a good performance by them. Yes, I wanted them to get more pressure on Kirk Cousins. He was just too comfortable until they started putting a few more hits on him. But again, they were what I wanted them to be, as I spoke on to start the season. Bend, but don't break. Bend, but don't break. Like, that's fine.
Ricky, you're coming on the show next Monday. I just want to let you know that. Bro. Just be ready. You will be on the show next Monday. Just know that, okay? But yeah, this is the biggest fear with Dan Campbell, right? Was the X's and O's, and it's coming to fruition. Now, here's one thing I will say that I appreciate. I appreciate the fact that he at least owned it like a man and was like, that's entirely on me. But mistakes stay mistakes when you fail to learn from them. And so if you do not learn from this mistake, then you can say, I blame myself all you want. It doesn't mean anything until you actually put action to it. Oh, a few more things from the game, okay? The Lions have lost Tracy Walker for the entire year to an Achilles injury. That is massive. Just can't even underscore how big of a loss that's going to be on the back end of that defense.
Because he was hurt last season too, right? That's bad. Yeah, that hurts.
It's gonna be tough. Deshaun Elliott definitely gonna have to step up. The name is escaping me, but the kid that they drafted out of Illinois is gonna have to. He's gonna probably take on
Kirby Joseph.
Yeah, Joseph. Probably gonna have to take a bigger role, hopefully, to be that ball hawking type safety that he, can be. So hopefully they can cover that. But losing a captain in the third game of the season is tough.
Yep. And another injury update I think they should be getting Jerry Jacob back soon as well in the secondary, which is needed because Mr. Owarie, bruh, go back to the fundamentals, man. Like, I don't know what happened with him. He was just getting abused by Thielen in this game, bro.
Look, and I didn't watch it close enough, and I should have in the 3 rewatches that I did, but there was a lot of stuff that I think was ticky-tack in that. Like, for instance, okay, I don't know if you remember, but they called 2 defensive holding calls. One on Okudah, which the Vikings declined.
Yeah,
and then one on Owarie, which gave him like a total of 6 for the day.
Oh my god, yeah.
But I mean, look, he's a hands first kind of corner, right? And apparently the league is like stiffening up on the fact that like you got to let him run free after 5 yards, which I get. But then he got away with like almost murder on Thielen on that third. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I don't know. Like, he should not have. He crippled the defense. But let's also not forget that the defensive line did nothing.
Nothing. Hutchinson didn't register anything in the box score. I'm very disappointed by that. I'm not shooting him no bail though. If you looked at how he was playing, he was slow dancing with him the whole time. He had his hand on his hips, literally every penalty that they called on him.
It was the injury.
It must have been, man.
It had to be.
It must have been. Like, Okudah was playing it right. He was getting physical and throwing Jefferson to the ground, getting in his chest, getting in his shoulders. That's where you don't grab his hips and then use your arm to like turn to the ball. That's not I'm not a pro, but I know that's not how you play, man. Like, what are you doing?
Did you see Justin Jefferson? I keep wanting to call him Jordan Jefferson. I don't know why, but Justin Jefferson, did you see his body language? He was so frustrated. And it was awesome.
Yes, he's throwing his hands up. Even with Thielen, dropping passes. I even like Thielen in the last possession when he's screaming at the ref. I like how they were coming apart, but then you let KJ Osborne ice the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was just completely blown coverage. I don't even know what to discuss on that. I mean, KJ Osborne is not a bad receiver. Like, as a third option, he's a pretty good third option to have. Mm-hmm. So, but the fact that he ran free with no safety help over the top was just
absurd,
just brutal. And here's the deal, right? The Lions have lost. They're now 1-2 when they should very easily be 2-1 at minimum.
Yep.
And they come with the Seahawks coming to town on Sunday, which, look, and I know there's cookie games, right? And everybody wants to talk about cookie games. Here's what makes me most nervous about this team. We want to talk grit, and we want to talk about hard work, and we want to talk about all of these different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about we talk about effort for 4 quarters?
Yes. Discipline for 4 quarters.
Can we just put together a full football game one time?
Yes.
I mean, I know I wasn't on the show last week, but I know that they were out 20-something to nothing against the Commanders, and then are giving everybody heart palpitations again because they let Carson Wentz back into the game. Like, we cannot keep doing this and expect different results.
No.
If you do not play 4 full quarters in the NFL, you will lose more than you win.
Exactly. They at least make timely plays at the very least. If you can't get 4 quarters, make timely plays. Get off the field when you need to, like the Vikings did. Exactly. And that's where they struggle. You gave them extra opportunity in life. At least in the Commanders game, they get off to the hot start, and then the Commanders pick it up. They're still able to get pressure on. They're still able to score. Like, they still added on to it. They didn't do anything that indicated they had a chance in this game. This was horrible.
Ricky, I think we're going to call this, and we're going to call your bluff on this. Because we will do a show on location. If they lose to Geno Smith, we will be at the Rouge River with better makeshift shorts on, and you will swim in it. I am going to call your bluff on that. That'll be the whole show. Ricky. That'll be the whole show. So,
Facts.
All right. He says he's ready. He's ready to go.
He took the challenge. Let's go. Book it. Book it. Ricky. We got our promo ready for next week.
You better hope that they do not
Appreciate
lose
you,
to Geno
Ricky.
Smith. I hope if they lose to Geno Smith, man, that is going to be
They're
rough.
not playing bad.
Listen,
They're playing pretty good right now.
yeah, I know. So let's get off the Lions train for a second. We got some more football to talk about, but before we do that, I do want to remind you guys about GearUpDetroit.shop. Get your original Detroit Sports Nation swag from there. You can use BTB25 off to get a discount. Listen, the shirts are comfortable. They get them to you quick. There's some pretty awesome designs on there, so make sure you're checking out GearUpDetroit.shop for some sweet original Detroit Sports Nation swag.
I bought the t-shirt. I had to do some retail therapy after the game. I copped the t-shirt to make myself feel better. Trust me, it's a good decision, y'all. Check out the website, get your swag up with DSN.
For sure. So let's transition to the college game. And before we do that, how's your fantasy team sitting this week?
Well, this week I'm doing great. I'm sitting up with the lead. Matt is not. He don't have nobody else playing, so I should be getting my first victory. But while you were gone, I got all the smoke for Ryan Griffin now because I had a 60-point lead set. 60-point lead. I'm talking trash. I'm feeling great. And then here comes Stephon Diggs and Jalen Hurts to ruin my whole damn week. And I lose. I have never been so disgusted in my life. So Ryan Griffin, you're banned from the show, bro. I'm sorry. You never allowed back on box beyond the box. Sorry,
Ryan,
pal.
I do want to thank you for filling in for me last week. Listen, I came into this week as huge numerical underdogs in 3 matchups. All 3 leagues that I'm in, huge numerical underdogs. I've already won 2 of them, and I have a 14-point lead over Jeff, our owner, in our league. And listen, I may win this if Ezekiel Elliott doesn't do anything, and if Saquon Barkley doesn't get 14 points, which he probably will, right? I'm most likely going to lose. But if somehow I pull this off, I will have won the Detroit Sports Nation Creators League with Carson Wentz and Joe Flacco as my quarterbacks this week.
Oh hell no, no!
Because I benched Herbert because I wasn't sure if he was playing or not. And if I pull off this miracle, I'm telling you what, I ain't losing again.
No, you don't deserve that satisfaction. You don't deserve any of that.
All I'm going to say is thank you, Cordarrelle Patterson, for giving me a chance.
Oh, God, your guy, Jesus. Back to him again.
Give me a chance. But anyway, here is the deal. We had 2 college football games this weekend that were not great. I mean, Michigan won, so that's good. Michigan State had the doors blown off of them. And yikes. So let's talk about Michigan State first.
Okay.
And I'm going to be honest, Eric. I watched half of this game and I turned it off because I couldn't watch anymore. I could not. I was like, man, this is brutal. For all the hype of Tuck coming and smoking cigars and this bad A attitude that they have over Michigan State, you got bullied on Saturday. You got bullied on Saturday.
Yeah.
Just trashed. Absolutely trashed.
Really, really bad. This team is in trouble. You can't allow no quarterback. I don't care what level it is. If you're playing high school, Pop Warner, NFL, college, you can't have a quarterback averaging over 80% completion percentage against your defense. Like, that's just embarrassing. And they did the same thing against Washington. They were talking about how bad the secondary was playing. Then as soon as they would come out of the replay, another bad completion would happen right after that. They are getting picked apart in horrendous fashion. And based on their schedule, I don't see this getting any better for Michigan State. This is where the meat of their schedule starts building up. This is bad news. This is really, really bad for them.
34-7, so at least you did not get shut out, but you let Tanner Morgan go 23 for 26 for 268 and 3 touchdowns.
Come on, man. Come on.
Now, listen, Tanner Morgan's been in the Minnesota program since, like, 1973. So he's been around for a long time in this program, so he should at least have an understanding of it. But my goodness, how bad is your secondary when Tanner Morgan is doing that to you?
Horrible.
Sycamore.
That's what it looked like.
The team that doesn't exist.
Exactly. Yes.
Basically, right?
Like, team.
Yeah, they are.
The Vikings had quite a troll about another Minnesota victory because Michigan State had this L against Minnesota, and now we had to deal with this with the Vikings too. So we had a bad weekend against Minnesota. This is not what you wanted to see from your teams.
You say we, so apparently you've hitched your bandwagon to a
No,
team.
no, no, no,
Oh,
no, no, no,
you
no,
sure
no, no,
about
no. I'm
that? You better
speaking
be
for the
careful with them
people.
words. For the
I'm speaking for
people.
the
I
people. It's for
gotcha.
Ryan Griffin, the MSU, Tuck Cummins base. I'm speaking for them right now as the
Okay.
unbiased, supporter that I am.
I mean, just brutal, right? You rushed for a total of 38 yards against Minnesota, while Minnesota rushed for 240.
Just
That is
bad.
insanity. And here's the worst part: you only gave up 1 sack. Like
That's it, right? Even I think it was like last week, like Thorne had a pretty good completion day too. Like he was still sitting comfortable, like we're able to wheel and deal and find some guys, but you get down that fast, it doesn't matter. That's basically
wheel
what
and
happened
deal,
this
he
week
had a
too.
50% completion percentage. He
In the
was
last
17 for 24,
in
132
Washington, or are you talking
yards.
about for this game?
Oh, Washington. I thought you were talking
Yeah,
about
Washington.
Minnesota.
No, no,
Okay.
no, 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 no.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
okay.
Washington,
Washington. Yeah, he was
he
much
was
better
fairly
against
decent.
Washington.
Yeah, this game,
For
yeah, he
sure.
couldn't even get on
For
a
sure.
roll for this. Like, it was really bad what he was doing.
So, listen, I know we're talking about college, but there's a commenter, Lions Mania on YouTube, who keeps talking about Dan Campbell. And so I want to make sure that he gets heard. Like,
Yeah, get his
he
extra
wants to
therapy in.
bring up Dan Campbell calling timeout with 40 seconds left, which, yeah,
Bro.
you're right. He did call timeout, which I kind of get because he wants to make sure that there's enough time on the clock in case the Lions were to get the ball back. But it went way before that, Lions Mania. It was kicking a field goal on 4th down, which is just the worst decision he could have made. Listen, get your heavyset in there, get a tight end in there to run block for Jamal Williams, and just say, "Go get me 3 yards. Just go get me 3 yards." That's it.
Call
That's
call Corey Sessinger to get in there and block in
there.
front
You
of him,
go.
like
Shoot,
play
I don't
Smash
care.
Mouth.
Put Rodrigo in the background, in the
Sure,
backfield, and let
yeah.
him go hit somebody.
I'm
I
good with
don't
that.
care. Just get 3 yards. That's all that matters. So Michigan State now drops to 1-2 on the season, or 2-2. They're 0-1 in the conference. I'm sorry about that. They are 2-2 now on the season, and not great. Let's transition to a team that did actually win, which is Michigan, but they didn't win pretty.
No.
Like, they came back down to earth a little bit this week against a Maryland team that is maybe not as bad as people think or thought they may have been, right? You got, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his first name, but Little Tua. That's what I'm going to call him. It's just Little Tua. Who can sling the ball. I mean, just, I did not like what I saw from Michigan at all. Specifically, their offensive scheme. They're running fly sweeps and not building anything off of that. They just seemed very out of sync and just horribly off schedule when it came to their offense. JJ didn't look great.
No.
Made a lot of sophomoric errors, if you will, and came back to earth. I mean, he was 18 for 26, 220 yards. He did have 2 touchdowns. And listen, JJ is as talented as they come. But sometimes that can be a detriment. When he's running around in the backfield like crazy, getting blindside sacked by a block that was, I mean, the guy was stumbling over and JJ ran into him. If it was not for Blake Corum and a dominant offensive line, Michigan loses this game. 100%.
I'm with you on that. I think what Michigan is finding out now is that they can find ways to play complementary football. Michigan teams dominate against unranked teams. That's just what Harbaugh or Coach Solomon teams do. So for what I've seen, though, I mean, Blake Corum, obviously, as you said, he dominated. He already has 8 rushes of 20 or more yards, which is the most in college football.
He's so
per
good.
PFF.
He's
fantastic.
So good.
I'm really interested in. I like to see what he's doing.
Did you hear the quote today?
No, what happened?
He does what running backs do. He gets close enough to you where you can smell his breath, and then he makes you miss just barely. That's a Jim Harbaugh quote.
Okay.
That's a Jim Harbaugh.
Well, hey, this didn't come out the Bible, so I mean, it's good with that. Good job, Coach. But from what I'm seeing in the complementary football, even when their offense isn't clicking perfectly, they did come up with some timely defensive plays. They get some turnovers. They were able to get a little bit of pressure on Little Tua. I'm gonna go with you on that one. And I really like his upside. I think he's gonna be a pretty good player to keep developing. But they were able to play complementary football. I think it's important to establish and realize that even for young teams, young quarterbacks, you're not going to be perfect every game. You're not going to see a performance from McCarthy like he had against Hawaii every game.
And
But you can help rely on you should. But you can rely on your defense, your run game to give you a little bit of support when maybe you don't have it in your bag that day. I think that's extremely important. That's why I'm kind of buying some stock into what Michigan is doing right now.
I'd like to hear that.
Maximilian,
Maximilian,
bias,
100% correct here. It just seemed like the co-offensive coordinators could not get on the same page as far as the way that they wanted the game to go. They wanted, I mean, again, I go back to you're running, fly sweeps, but what are you building off of those fly sweeps? Where's, the significant play action passes and the read options? Now, there could be a little bit of a insulation that they're trying to give JJ with Cade being hurt, right? You don't want JJ running around and getting hurt, and then you got Alex Bowman as your quarterback.
Right.
But at the same time, you still got to play. You can't. The number one rule of football is you can never play football scared, because the moment you play football scared is the moment that you actually get hurt playing football. And so you got to go out there and play. And I think that the way that they called that game was a bit iffy offensively, but it's good. You want to see the kind of adversity that they saw, because you weren't getting that adversity in their preseason warm-up games, right? I mean, if you run your program like an NFL program and you have 3 preseason games, which is essentially what those 3 games were, they were just tune-up games, then you come out of the blocks against a team like Maryland and you don't put up 70 points and you are in a dogfight, because you have a lot of work that you have to, overcome, and adjustments that have to be made in those situations, right? And it was nice to see them adjust. It was nice to see them, get over that hump and still come away with a victory. But it's going to be very interesting when they go into Kinnick Stadium this Saturday.
That's not going to be easy.
As somebody likened it, the unstoppable force of the Michigan offense versus an unmovable object of the Iowa defense is going to be something that is very, very interesting and a strong storyline for this weekend coming up. It's going to be tough. I mean, Jim said this Kinnick is where top 5 teams go to die.
I'm with that. I'm totally co-signing. We're going to learn a lot about this team. We're going to learn a lot about McCarthy. Going down to Iowa is not no easy task. I would have liked to see him play in at least one road game. God, I don't even like that. No.
You're going to be, I'm going to have you an amazing blue real quick.
Nah. I'm good right here. I would have liked to have seen how McCarthy and Michigan played at least one time on the road in this regime. But it's going to say a lot about them this coming Saturday. I'm excited to see what happens.
100% going to be very interesting. Before we head on to our picks for the week, I want to remind everybody, wherever you're at on social media, make sure that you check out and like and subscribe to Detroit Sports Nation for the latest and best content from Detroit sports and sports at large, because we cover everything. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, click that bell on YouTube so you're getting notifications when our shows drop, because we got a lot of shows and a lot of content that's coming at you all hours of the day, every day of the week. Make sure you're over there. So let's jump in to our NFL picks for week 4. Eric, are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Now, listen, next week we'll have a total of our first quarter of the season records and where we're standing.
Right. Okay.
Okay. I'll get them tallied up and I'll have them. Now, Ryan's will count for me since he covered for me last week. So I'll take his, maybe it'll
take it
because he's smarter than I am. I'm okay with that. Whatever. It is what it is. This is a rule. It's like whose line is it anyways? The points don't matter. Neither do the rules, because we just make them up as we go.
We out here, yep.
So here we go. All right. Game number 1, Thursday night, Miami at Cincinnati.
If Tua's playing, I'm going to go with Miami. I'm subject to change if he's not playing, because we don't know what happened with this injury that he had. He knocked his head back and he was wobbly. I think he still played, but it's not a guarantee he comes out next week. So if he plays, I'm going Miami. If he doesn't, I'm going Cincinnati. Can I do that?
Since we said that we make up the rules as we go along.
See?
Okay.
Yes.
That's fine.
Yes.
So cool. I'm going to take Cincinnati unless they're losing in the fourth quarter.
Oh.
And then just kidding.
There's some parameters, man. Chill. Come on.
I'm gonna take Miami. I'm gonna take them
All right.
to win. I like what they have with Tyreek and I'm gonna take Miami to win. They got something special. I mean, they beat the Bills this weekend, which I don't think anybody saw coming.
Nobody.
And they did that with a concussed Tua, which
that was ugly.
That was ugly. They're going to be in some massive trouble, I think,
for sure.
But that's for a later part of the show. Here we go. Second game. The surprise. Urban Meyer is a terrible coach. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, is there any more proof that Urban Meyer is a terrible coach than the Jacksonville Jaguars right now?
Yeah, if anyone should feel great right now, Michigan fans, your heart should be warm going out.
Vindication.
Yes. And I'm a pile on. I like Jacksonville, but I'm not there yet. The Eagles look phenomenal. Jalen Hurts is like he might be in the MVP conversation by the midseason. I don't like doing it now. It's way too early, but he looks fantastic. Give me the Eagles.
I told you, I'm riding the Philly train until the Philly train crashes. And just what I saw from them in the Lions in the first week and how dynamic that offense can be.
Yeah.
They're going to be tough. And they're
not joking.
Right now, they should be favorites in the NFC, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not a lot of other teams that look super impressive outside of the NFC. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Shout out to what the Eagles are doing.
All right, let's move to our third game. The Los Angeles Rams with Matthew Stafford at the San Francisco 49ers.
I'll go with the Rams. Jimmy G is I like him. I like that he's, their offense still looks pretty formidable with him under center, but I think the Cup led Rams with Stafford have too much firepower still. I don't think they'll slow down. I think
so much firepower that I don't even think they're in. Do they even have a win this year? I think they're 0-3, aren't they?
Who? The Niners?
The Rams.
The Rams have won. They won against who they just played last week. God, who they just win last week? They won a game last week. They're not 0-3. There's no way they're 0-3 right now. I think every team in that division is tied, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm checking.
Yeah, they're 2-1. They're 2-1 right now. They're 2-1. Yeah, they beat Atlanta and Arizona. That's what I'm thinking of. Yes.
Okay, they beat Arizona. Again, I told you I didn't watch anything in the 4 o'clock time slot because I was so mad about the freaking Lions. I'm taking San Francisco. They're too good. San Francisco is going to be good. Tebow, Jimmy G. It's how it should be, right? They wanted to get on the Trey Lance and are lucky that Jimmy G is still around. So I'm gonna take San Francisco.
Did you see they had a trade in place to send him to the Commanders? Bro, if you put that together and you lost Trey Lance, that team is cooked right now.
Yep. Yes, they would be definitely cooked because they'd probably have Carson Wentz. But anyways, that's beside the point. All right, the very, 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 very disappointing, and I can't believe that I have a number of them on my fantasy team, Denver Broncos, at the Las Vegas Raiders.
At the Raiders, I'll say the Raiders get their first win. I hate everything that the Broncos are doing. They look horrible. I'm sure you didn't watch the game last night. I did. That was probably the worst game of the season so far. They looked so bad on offense and defense. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and roll with the Raiders to get their first win.
Yeah, and imagine how I feel with Russell Wilson being my only quarterback in one fantasy football league.
Well, I got Jerry
Jeudy.
And I
thought that it was going to be a fantastic pick in like the 8th round that I've got Russell Wilson. He's just, let's ride and all this stuff. And he is done broke down on the side of the road right now because he can't do anything.
No.
But for fantasy purposes, I'm still going to take Denver because I need them to win because I need them to score a lot of points.
I'm with you. I got Jerry Jeudy in a flex in one of my leagues, and he's up here talking trash to Shannon Sharp on Twitter, even though he's playing bad. So they're all just discombobulated. I can't pick Denver right now.
Well, I got Denver, and I'll ride it because my fantasy team's either going to ride or die based on Denver. All right. Yeah, bad. Anyway, last game, of course, Detroit hosting Seattle. And remember that Ricky has a bet of jumping into the Rouge River with potato chip pants on for this one. So I almost kind of want to pick the Seahawks just to see that next Monday night.
This is the same logic as we have for the Commanders game. If you can't beat Geno Smith and the Seahawks, cancel the season. I'm done. Still talking about Sierra's husband. There was a tweet. They said Russell playing so bad they got Sierra in camouflage in the stands.
Dre, thank you for our comedic relief tonight.
Dre.
But yeah, Broncos country. That's right. Come on, man. Mr. Unlimited. No, man, you are limited as can be right now.
Extremely. It's so disappointing.
So disappointing.
I'm gonna go with the Lions against Seattle. Again, I think Okudah has another good game against DK Metcalf. I'm scared about what Tyler Lockett could do, but I feel like they should still be able to put up enough points against this team. Give me the Lions.
I told you I wasn't going to take the Lions until they prove something to me. But I think I'm going to break that because I can't pick Seattle.
You're not going to.
So I'm going to take Detroit.
Thank you.
And I'll be at the game, so I'll have a firsthand experience of Jared Goff throwing the ball less than 10 yards and completing them, and everybody going, "Oh, he's such a good quarterback." Whatever. I hope that I don't even know where I'm sitting. I don't care where I'm sitting because
doesn't matter.
it ain't gonna matter to watch passes go 5 yards past the line of scrimmage. That's all. Until
J-Bo comes back, we'll see. Maybe J-Bo comes back and he flips it down the field, and then we got to come back.
Unless he learns to throw left-handed, my man ain't getting the ball outside the hash marks deep past 10 yards. He can't do it. He cannot do it.
It's not his strong suit. It's definitely not.
No, it is not. It is not. And it is time for Hoo-Rah or Who Cares.
Yes.
We're going to move on from all this silliness, actually, and introduce some more silliness in Hoo-Rah and Who Cares. This is a segment where you can also tell us, what do you want to pump up with the Hoo-Rah? Give a little, shout out to. And what are you sick of talking about? Who cares anymore? And I'm going to start, Eric.
Go for it. Let's do it.
And I'm going to start with my Who Cares. Can we please stop talking about Tom Brady and Giselle? I'm so done talking about these guys. I'm so done. I don't care that they're having marital problems. And according to page 6, it has nothing to do with football. I don't care.
We didn't ask that.
Nobody cares.
Nobody's asking
Apparently,
for this information.
She's not mad that he came back to play football. Because that was the report, right? He wanted to retire to spend more time with his family. Then he spent more time with his family. He's like, maybe I want to play football. But I don't care. Stop telling me about their marriage and their marital problems, because guess what? He's Tom Brady and she's Giselle. They're fine. I don't care. Please, for the love of everything that's holy, stop telling me about Tom Brady and Giselle.
This is par for the course. I mean, he's ran through the NFL and he's unbeatable there. So in order to create a problem for Brady to overcome, they now have slid into his home life to bring up as an adversary. It's just absolute insanity what they're doing. He hasn't even confirmed that it's an actual problem, but people keep talking about it.
What's the quote from The Dark Knight where they say, I'm going to butcher it, but it's, you basically do a lot of good things, but then you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah, you live to be a hero, die long enough to be a villain, or live long enough to become a villain.
Yeah.
You die a hero, live long enough to become a villain. Yes.
Or something like that. Yeah. And I feel like Tom Brady's football life is now him living to the point where he's becoming the villain. He's smashing tablets on the sideline. He's got, this marital issue that everybody wants to keep talking about. Like, can we just move on? Can we please just move on?
Please. I just want to see one quarterback not named Tom Brady do that. I want to see if Lamar Jackson smashed tablets on the sideline, what would happen. That's just for me.
I'd prefer to see him smash tablets in a Lions uniform, and then I wouldn't care.
I would quit football forever, but I'll get on to my Who Cares. I'm going to kind of predict the future a little bit. Hold on, I want to see what Ricky says. Ricky's stepping tremendously. Cares Dan Campbell must have ate.
Ricky, you have the best Hoo-Rah and Who Cares.
I'm gonna stick to the same game because this is what made me upset, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna predict the future a little bit. My Who Cares is gonna be to the NFL's explanation to how bad the officials have been. I can't tell you how many delay of games now, all of a sudden, where it hits 0 for a second and a half, 2 seconds, and they still letting quarterbacks get the playoff. Like, I normally when these things happen, the teams come out, the refs come out, like, oh, well, we should have called it, and we made this mistake. they've done that too many times over the past few years of these butchered calls, and it's obvious mistakes you're making. It's just, even the Lions game. Do you remember where I think it was Dalvin Cook or it was the Lions, they ran a play, and he was clearly like 2 yards short, and the Lions still gave him the first down? They have just been so bad with officiating this season. I don't want to hear no excuses for any reasons why.
Oh,
Who
no,
cares?
Eric,
Shut up.
they have to look down at their watch and then look back up to see if the ball's been snapped, and then still have to pull out their flag. So it's not a 40-second play clock. It's a 45-second play clock.
Yes. And then on top of that, they're taking so long to announce the penalties, too. They got to huddle for 2 minutes and look at it. Oh, did you see this? Did you see what? Okay, just stop, man. Y'all have been embarrassing this season. Yeah. Absolutely horrible.
They have not been great. But no. It's officiating, and there's rarely accountability for officiating. So let's move on to our Hoo-Rahs. And I am going to give a shout out to an enemy. And I'm going to give a shout out to Aaron Rodgers and Hoo-Rah him for the fact that my man, even though his team is 2 points away from being tied with the Bucs, sees something on the Jumbotron, runs over to his coach, tells them about it, and they stop the play for the 2-point conversion. To me, listen. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on here, right?
Yeah.
But for me, listen, I love this kind of stuff because, look, love or hate Aaron Rodgers, he's a great regular season quarterback. Not so great in the playoffs. He's lost like multiple NFC Championship games in a row, but to be that in tune and to just have the cojones to be like, hey, just saw this. You might want to look out for it. Oh, guess what? That's exactly what happened. And who's the idiot on the Jumbotron that put it up there? Like, that's pretty awesome. And I love that kind of stuff. So, Aaron Rodgers, I hope you don't do it against the Lions, but good for doing it for Tom Brady and his marital problems.
So it's helpful to have a quarterback that can see things on the field
and actually tell his coach.
And maybe tell his coach and give yourself an advantage to get a win.
You had to do it, man. I was good.
What a benefit that could be.
And then you brought it up again, man. And then you brought it up again. I was good. I was so good. And then you had to remind me of the 25th best quarterback in the NFL commanding our Detroit Lions. Thank you so much.
I had a feeling it was some ulterior motive with that one.
No, it wasn't. It actually wasn't. It had nothing to do with Jared Goff until you brought it up. So thank you so much.
That's all I thought about. It's the first thing that came to my mind.
And hopefully he has COVID, but when he plays his Lions.
Gracious. Well, we can go to Brazil and have that little, shrooms retreat or whatever he's doing.
Yeah. Whatever.
All right.
Good for Aaron Rodgers to do that and actually say something instead of being like, I think he would have left me on the field for 4th down if I would have asked.
Mm-hmm.
You think,
okay.
Jared?
And I'll give you, it's okay to give at least one Green Bay quarterback some credit for what they're doing in the world today. But
let's not talk about that.
That's another show. That's another
you
show.
Did that last week. I'd rather not.
Oh, I can keep going all day. Anyway,
I watched.
My Hoo-Rah is gonna go to Tua Tagovailoa. I'm really rooting for him this season. I really want to see him do well. A lot of people were killing him for, he can't throw deep. He can't make plays. Like, he keeps doing it, though. He keeps finding Waddle down.
You got to keep doing it because he should be the quarterback of the Lions right now. God bless, man.
It was, you know what? Who else was in that discussion, too? I don't even
Justin Herbert.
Or Jalen Hurts. I liked Hurts a lot when he was available in that draft.
Yeah, but not at 3 in that draft.
Well, no, he didn't go in the first round, though. So you could have took him later. I would have been totally fine with that.
Okay.
But
that's fair.
But just for now, I'll give my props to Tua, especially based on how the game was. The Bills dominated the time of possession of this game. Josh Allen threw the ball 63 times. It was super active, and they still found a way to lose and have their OC in the skybox, breaking tablets, throwing paper all over the place, all because they didn't handle the play and win the game how they wanted to. And especially with the injury that he dealt with, too. That was really ugly to see him bounce back through that. Tua, listen.
He should not have been back in that game.
I was watching the game where he fell. tried jogging and then slipped and fell again. Like, bro, that looked really ugly.
That ain't right.
That was really, really bad. But I love what the Miami Dolphins are doing. I'm really cheering for Tua. That was kind of a tongue twister. And I hope to see a lot of success from him this year, especially with Jalen Waddle as one of my fantasy receivers. So,
well, I got Tyreek Hill in our league, so
okay, we got the same goals, then. We got the same
goals. And hopefully tonight I will be beating Jeff Bilbrey, who thinks that I need to. What did he say? I gotta find this. I gotta find this comment just to throw it up there.
Humble
He
him,
goes,
Jeff.
"Oh, he said I'm not winning anything. Go back to practicing the floss dance." Yeah,
TikTok ready.
It ain't gonna happen, man.
Jeff.
My team is pretty formidable, and I may have some trades in the works that's gonna make it even better. So
cool.
you should just gear up because, I mean, if I win this week with Carson Wentz and Joe Flacco as my quarterbacks.
That's the ultimate kicker. If anyone wins anything with those quarterbacks being there, guys, that there's something wrong in this league that we working with. So no, I'm calling an investigation.
Or it's like, what was that? Real Men of Genius was the commercial spot a few years ago.
Not. No, you're
just
not.
Saying.
No,
I'm
no,
just
you're
saying.
Not.
I mean,
no.
Hey, if the shoe fits, wear it. Wear it
everywhere. Splish splash. I love those commercials.
All right, that is going to do it for us here on Beyond the Box. He is Eric Vincent. I am AJ Reilly, and we will be back with you next week, hopefully celebrating a win from the Detroit Lions. If not, we will be live on location at the Rouge River, where Ricky
get them trunks ready, Ricky,
with better made pants. I don't know how that's going to work, but we will figure it out somehow. So just get ready, Ricky, because they're one way or the other, whether they win or lose, Ricky, you will be on the show next week. I appreciate everybody that was here, and I appreciate all the comments and dropping them in for us. Y'all be good. Have a great week. Go Lions. Go Blue. Go green, go white, even though that pains me to say a little bit, but hey, it is what it is, right? We're a show for everybody. We'll see you next Monday night at 7 o'clock. Until then,